Okay. Yeah, hi everybody. Yeah, first of all, yeah, I would like to introduce myself. I am Ivan Martinez, and I'm the technical coordinator of Pfizer Market. And in addition to this, I'm leading the Work Package 4, which are related with the backplane API and the SDK and reference implementation for the Pfizer Market. Yeah. After the Juan's demo, I would like to share with you this demo, which are mainly related with the second main pillar in the Work Package 4, which is the SDK, and in concrete, the SDK approach that we have already defined for the Excel market includes is a layered approach that mainly is in charge of the provision of the SDK core as a part of the bottom part of this layer. The SDK generator has a part of the middle layer, the SDK RI on top of the SDK generator layer, and finally we have the SDK front end, which is the top layer in this layered approach that we have already defined for the SDK. In terms of mapping with the reference architecture, you could see in the slide that both the SDK core and the SDK generator are mapping with the tags 4.5, which is related with the SDK and reference implementation in Excel market. Let me now to provide some concepts, introduce somehow in a conceptual way the SDK generator. We follow SDK has a service approach for the provision of the SDK generator in Excel market, and mainly we have to provide as input an open API specification associated to one of our artifacts in Excel market, in addition to a concrete programming language, and the SDK generator is able to generate on the fly automatically all the client code, all the client stack, plus some API documentation behind this, and we zip the client code and the API documentation, and the SDK generator has uploaded this zip file that contains the code plus the documentation to the invoker. Regarding to the conceptual approach behind the SDK core, we could say that the SDK core is based on the execution of Ansible pipeline, which is supporting the provision of the two version of the SDK core that we are supporting in the i3 market, the Java version and JavaScript version of the SDK cores. And mainly the SDK core, as I mentioned before, is supported by a concrete Ansible playbook that contains several tags related with the generation of a client stack for a set of artifacts mainly in the backend of i3 market, that for this concrete first release of i3 market are the followings: the OIDC, the verifiable credentials, the data access, a smart contract notification manager, and finally the backplane API. And the Ansible playbook behind the SDK core is taking mainly the OAuth file, using the public URL behind all this OAuth file, and perform several requests to the SDK generator for the provision of the client stack associated to each one of these OAuth file, and generate at the end a couple of artifacts. The first one is the DSDK core, in a jar format, which is aligned with the Java version of DSDK core. And in a second stage, we are providing the SDK core for the JavaScript version, which are mainly composed by several JavaScript artifacts generated by means of the SDK generator. Yeah, well, once introducing from let me say from a conceptual perspective the SDK generator and the SDK core, I would like to perform now a real demo for each one of these two main software pieces in the context of iFree Market, in the context of tax 4.5 in concrete. This is the REST API behind the SDK generator. That if you keep an eye on the REST API, you could see that it's quite simple in terms of methods. Let me say, because you have only two methods. The first one is in charge of the generation of the SDK the SDK client stuff. And the second one is just to the final user could check the different languages supported in the SDK generator. And if you execute here, if you try out the methods for getting the supported languages, you could get as output what you are seeing now in my screen, that are a lot of programming languages which are currently supported in the SDK generator. In concrete, we are using the Java and JavaScript version for the SDK core, as I introduced previously. And if we try out now a concrete example, we could take here the endpoint, the URL, the public URL behind the backplane API, which is this URL that you could see in my screen now. And the only attribute that we have to provide in the JSON grammar behind the generate SDK method is the Open API URL that, as I mentioned, is the OAS, the URL behind the backplane OAS file in concrete for the node 3. And if we specify here JavaScript and try out, we are going to generate the client, the SDK client for consuming or for interacting with the functionalities exposed in the backplane API. And in concrete, if we click here and we open this zip file that the SDK generator has provided for us, you could, if we examine the content of this zip file, you could see here the doc folder that includes all the files for the provision of the API documentation. And if we go to the source file, you could see all the source code behind the backplane. And always the SDK generator is providing for you the same structure in terms of source code. Always provide this a folder named API in addition to the folder named model. The API is containing all the classes, all the controller for interact with the methods exposed in the REST API automatically. And the model folder is containing all the data objects, all the data bins at the end that are are used in the different methods exposed in the REST API. In this case, for the backplane API. And as I mentioned before, the SDK generator is providing always the same structure for the zip file in terms of documentation and in terms of source code. Yeah, that should be all regarding to the SDK generator. Yeah, and now I would like to show you the playbook behind the SDK core. Yeah, we have a GitLab project in i3 Market, name is i3 Market deployment. That mainly the goal is put here all the playbooks for supporting the different pipelines in the context of i3 Market. And in concrete, for the SDK core, we are using this playbook, named it SDK core Nexus, that contains all the tags needed for the generation of the client stuff for the Java and JavaScript version of the SDK cores. And we have a first block in the playbook that which is in charge of get access get an access token for accessing to the SDK generator, and do a HTTP request for generate the client stat for instance, for all the artifacts considered, that in our case, as I mentioned before, are the backplane, the OAuth, the verifiable credentials, the data access, API notification manager, smart contract manager, and finally, and the backplane, which is the first one. And we have more or less the same block or a second block for the provision of the SDK core Java version, considering the same artifacts and using again the SDK generator has a key software piece to generate the client stat. Yeah, and once the JavaScript and the Java version has already generated, we publish this version into our Nexus repository by means of these final tags that you could see in the playbook. Let me try now a real execution of this template. This is our official instance of Ansible AWX for i3 Market that contains basically different projects that let us to support different pipelines in i3 Market, in addition to several templates for covering these pipelines. But in concrete, in the case of the SDK core, we could find this template, which is named i3 Market SDK core, that is linking with the playbook that I showed you before. If we try out now the pipelines by means instantiated a new job. Yes, you could see now the execution of all the tags that I showed you before, associated with the SDK core Nexus playbook. And yeah, this the execution of the whole pipeline takes 5-10 minutes more or less. But yeah, I maybe we come back here in 5-10 minutes just to check that the execution of the playbook was successfully. But yeah, has finally has part of the to finish this demo. I would like to show you the last part of the demo, which is the publishing of the SDK core and SDK Java and JavaScript version into the Nexus repository, yeah, for consuming from the different software pieces that are interacting with the SDK core. The main of these software pieces is the SDK RI that is importing in the SDK core Java version has a Java library, and for instance, Agora is using the JavaScript artifacts directly from the business logic for supporting the integration with i3 Market. And we have defined this i3 Market row repository that, as I mentioned before, contains all the client stuff generated at the end of the execution of the SDK core Ansible pipeline, which is already in execution now. Yeah, and that should be all regarding to the SDK generator and SDK core demo. Martin, Achille, and I could give you the voice again now for continue with the rest of demos.
Yes, thank you, Ivan.